Welcome to the Angus Report, a news program for cattle producers.
From American Angus Association headquarters in St. Joseph, Missouri, we bring you the week's top headlines, including indications for winter weather.
We'll look at some cover crops that are helping producers save on feed bills.
We'll also talk corn prices with ag economist Dan Bossy, and Paige Wallace brings us coverage of the American Royal.
This is the Angus Report. Hello, I'm Bob Cervera.
And I'm Crystal Albers.
Our top news this week. The latest weather outlook from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration shows the upcoming winter will likely be mild and dry for much of the U.S. Thanks to a weakening El Nino system, producers in the West and upper Midwest can anticipate dry conditions this winter, according to the agency. Portions of the Southeast could experience cooler and wetter than average conditions, but the forecast offers little relief to the majority of the country, which remains in significant drought. Some forecasters suggest drought conditions could expand along the West Coast. Meanwhile, other portions of the United States, like the East Coast, remain in a neutral weather pattern that could equally return either above or below normal temperatures.
The National Cattlemen's Beef Association has released its list of top producers in the beef cattle industry and other important statistics compiled by CattleFacts. According to the organization, 19 of the top 25 seed stock operations utilize Angus genetics. Likewise, 19 of the top 25 cow-calf operations incorporate the Angus breed. CattleFacts statistics also show JBS Five Rivers cattle feeding as the largest feeding operation with 11 yards and a capacity of 940,000 head. Cargill Meat Solutions ranked as the largest beef packer. Other data show Texas leads the way in total number of cattle with more than 11.9 million head, followed by Nebraska and Kansas. Total cattle herd inventory figures from CattleFacts indicate the U.S. cattle herd decreased more than 1.9 million head from 2011 to 2012.
Cover crops could offer some much-needed forage this fall for cattle in drought-stricken areas. Crops like turnips can help producers stretch feed supplies through the late fall.
We experimented with turnips a few years ago by themselves on a standing corn crop. Really liked the amount of forage we could grow for the cost. Then as years have gone by, we've started incorporating it into our wheat crop. We'll graze the turnips and wheat combination through the winter, and then we'll go back and harvest the wheat in the early summer. 45 to 60 days, it'll be tall enough to graze. In terms of how long it will stay viable for grazing, that's just all going to be weather dependent. The turnip plant will continue to grow until approximately 22 degrees. At that point in time, the sugars will change and the tops will die, and the bulbs will become a little more appeasing to the cattle. The tops are going to be 16 to 18% protein. The bulbs are going to be 10 to 12% protein. We have not seen that planting turnips has affected our wheat yields thus far. And we had knee-high turnips last year on limited rainfall and a very minimal wheat crop.
The Beef Products Incorporated lawsuit against ABC News continues this month. ABC News lawyers have asked a judge to dismiss the $1 billion defamation lawsuit, saying the news organization did not knowingly disparage BPI or its product, lean finely textured beef, or LFTB. A BPI lawyer says they will oppose the motion to dismiss. BPI has closed 3 plants, causing roughly 700 layoffs since the reports last spring.
The superstorm system that hit the Northeast late last month inflicted significant damage to East Coast infrastructure, affecting almost every level of business, and beef sales was no exception. Transportation disruptions and power outages contributed to losses in the restaurant business, and consumers without power bought less fresh meat and other perishable foods prior to the storm. Choice cutouts were experiencing resistance after moving higher in October, and the upcoming Thanksgiving holiday could mean continued declines in retail beef sales, while Sandy impacted boxed beef. Live cattle prices largely remained intact despite poor weather conditions, according to reports.
Agriculture advocacy has become a popular concept in the agriculture industry, given the growing disconnect between consumers and those who produce food. Cheryl Day, Illinois Angus producer and blogger, says more farmers and ranchers can share their story with consumers by simply going online.
As an advocate for agriculture, I think it's important that we tell our story, whether you do it offline or online. But the important thing to remember is that there's millions and millions talking about agriculture online, and whether we really like Facebook or Twitter or wasting, some people think it's wasting our time on social media. The fact is, those conversations are going on every day, and they're either saying bad or good things about agriculture. So I think it's important to participate online as a tool for advocacy. So it's really easy to not engage yourself online or even have the 5-minute conversation in public with a fellow person that lives in town. So we have to challenge ourselves.
Visit Angus.org to continue watching this episode of the Angus Report.